Mhm. Hi, my name is Sebastian. I'm a former student at University Carolina's Invader Institute, and today, as part of my final English evaluation, I'm gonna be making a review, if you could call it like that, of Aldous Huxley Brave New World. I don't have a physical copy of the book, so I'm gonna put an image in this part of the screen, maybe. So, anyways, the cover page of the book isn't important. What do is important is the context, well, the historical context in which this book was released. The book was written in the age of the 30s in the 20th century. Uh, the science fiction of this era started with some really positive visions about what science could bring to the humans, to the society, what we could become if we used science to our purposes, to chase our purposes, or to, well, I think I'm making myself clear. Um, So then, that was at the beginning of the century, but then we know that historically the First World War happened, and then the Second World War was about to happen, and in that decade, that time, that specific time, the science, well, the people of that time didn't have were so positive. They have watched how the science that promised uh, new advances, new changes for their lives, had bringed destruction, had bringed more more ways to eradicate each one of us. That's the historical context in which this book was written. So, as any uh, art piece, this book reflects that it's a product of that timeline. Despite the fact that this book just um, does describe, the history in which four characters cross their lives, the real protagonist of this book is in fact the world in which these characters live. It's in fact the thing that I have already mentioned, the world in which science has helped us to reach, to construct a world in which is perfect. It's shown on this book. It's a world that's literally perfect. We have laboral forces that doesn't want to be any more than laboral forces, and if they have some point of unhappiness, they can consume a drug which stops them from being unhappy. That, seen from the perspective exclusively from the facts and the science, it's an utopia. But if we have moral concepts and philosophy in the equation added to this world, it's a dystopia. It's the contrary of what a perfect world should be. That's what I like most of of this book, that has a philosophical contradiction in which you using only moral can discard this world as an horrible place, but seeing it just from the side of the science, you can see that the world is perfect. It's a sustainable world that doesn't, it's not going to collapse. Well, so what really impresses me of this book and what for me makes it different from the other pieces that was released in the 20th century, that some of the ways that this world has, some of the circumstances that this world, that this fictional world has already happened in the world. We can see it in first world countries, uh, where the increase of economic success has carried with it the a wave of depression, mental illness that affect their population. And some of the governments of these non-mentioned countries have deal with it with plans that apart individuals, then transform people in more in individuals, in people who doesn't want to make contact with other people. And that's described in the book. And this was written almost like 90 years ago, and it's already happening, and it's something that's going to still happen in the next in the evening years. That's something, that's the reason why which I recommend this book, because independing, no, on different from if you like it or not, uh, depending of on which time you are maybe reading it, it may describe a world in which you already live. That's maybe the phrase which I want to say goodbye. Goodbye, sorry. Uh, it's really much. I don't really want to say too much spoilers. Don't want to describe too much of this world, because it's something that you really have to read by yourself. So maybe that's all. Yeah, that's all. That's with I'm finalizing this video. So thanks for your attention, and I really hope you decide to read Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Aldous Huxley. Sorry for my pronunciation. And thanks and goodbye.